From being one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time to leading the Golden State Warriors to wins in absence of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson has become the savior for the defending champions this season, and his importance for the Warriors is only growing. Over the course of this season in particular, Klay Thompson has been absolutely sensational, and his story is nothing short of heroic. There were many expectations from the Warriors, and they were expected to have a great season, of course. But the world was shocked when the Warriors ended up having one of the worst records on the road for any defending champion. It just didn't seem to get any better. And suddenly, a horrid start to the season ended up becoming a race for the playoff spots. Of course, things got worse when Steph Curry, the main man, got injured again, and the Warriors were left short-handed. Enter Klay Thompson. You know how they say that when the going gets tough, the tough get going? Well, that's exactly what happened with Thompson. People doubted his ability to be the main man and to lead the team, but he's got all those people eating their words after the kind of season he's having. And even though he's always been outrageously good from the range, Klay's actually stepped up big as a leader this season. And I have to say, even I didn't expect him to actually get better after his injury. But then again, what do I even know about basketball? Talking about his impact, just look at his numbers from this season. On first look, his numbers haven't exactly gone up compared to his other seasons in the NBA. The man's averaging over 22 points, yes, something he's only done on 2 occasions in the past, but he's also doing so on lesser minutes played, and with nearly 41% shooting from the three-point range. His field goal percentage has taken a hit for sure, but that's mostly because Klay's been taking a lot more shots than he usually does, due to Steph's absence. Talking about impact though, his rebounding numbers have, for the first time in his career, gone over 4, as he's been helping out defensively. But the biggest takeaway is just how he's taken center stage without the other stars. Anyone playing at this level would tell you that a sharpshooter like Klay can make threes with ease, especially when he's not under a lot of pressure to make them. This season though, with Curry missing the bulk of the run-in and Draymond Green not being there to ease the burden defensively, Thompson's just taken over and decided to sink threes to get the Warriors back in the contest, as if he's doing it in training. Klay's showcasing just how much the Warriors missed him in the 2 seasons he was out injured. And talk about making up for missed time. Thompson is rewriting his Warriors lore. Yeah, if it wasn't enough that Klay inspired this Golden State team to their 4th title last season, he also decided to carry that form into this season and help them get to the playoffs. The Warrior players often talk about how they have the championship mentality, and I have to agree. It's basically the reason why they went all the way last season, even though they didn't have a better roster on paper than the Boston Celtics. They had that champion dog in them. And while the likes of Draymond, Steph, and even Kevin Durant have had their moments over the years, Klay's rarely been the main man. And after missing 2 seasons due to those 2 horrific injuries, it's only fair that Thompson gets to star in this season's show. One thing that any NBA fan will tell you is that if the Warriors make the playoffs, they'll be one of the favorites to go all the way as well. The only way of ensuring that the West doesn't have to worry about the Golden State Warriors is if they can avoid them from making the playoffs. But Klay's taken it upon himself to guide the Warriors to the postseason, and then, well, the defending champions can do what they do best. And it's only fair that we take a look at some of his special performances from this season, right? To start off, I can't help but mention his brilliant performance against the Houston Rockets last month.
Getting downhill, the Warriors in the passing lane. Well done. A 2-on-none for Klay Thompson.
Klay ended the night with 42 points and made an NBA record for the most points without making a single 2. That's just the kind of form he's in these days. He also set the record for becoming the first player in league history to have made 12 threes in multiple games in the same season.
In the first quarter, as they turn the ball over, Looney's there for the steal. You won the first quarter by 5, win this quarter by 5, so you can kind of continue that.
Klay Thompson rails.
If that wasn't enough, just 2 days later, without Without Steph and Draymond, the Warriors had a big game against playoff hopefuls, the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Thompson rose to the occasion, scoring a game-high 32 in a closely contested 109-104 win. In fact, that only summed up the kind of month he was having. February 2023 became the third-best scoring month of Klay's career, with 25.7 points per game. But it gets even better. Klay's best scoring month came a month before February, throughout January, as he scored a career-best 27 points per game. And remember when I said that he rose to the occasion? Well, these numbers coincide perfectly with Steph's absence, showing that Klay actually improved his game when the team needed him the most. But it also shows how Klay's come from that horrid start to the season. I think he took Chuck's criticism to heart. Thompson was looking absolutely awful at the beginning of this season. In fact, things got so bad that Charles Barkley believed that Thompson was slowing down, and it led to reports that he might be considering retirement. After publicly refuting reports that this wasn't the case, Klay's not only turned his career around, but also provided the Warriors with a lifeline in their pursuit of a playoff spot. In fact, he's probably also helped the Warriors make a big decision ahead of the summer, where they had to probably decide whether to keep Klay or let him go. And I don't think Steve Kerr and the rest of the front office are gonna let him leave after the kind of performances he's put in. With both Draymond and Klay reaching the end of their contracts and the Warriors having financial troubles, they've had a big decision to make this season. Draymond will be a free agent this summer, and Klay will be out of contract next summer, and the Warriors needed to decide which of the two veterans to keep. While Draymond's more likely to leave anyway, it seems that Thompson's performances have more or less confirms who ends up staying. And then they'll need to throw in a thank you note too, because Klay's saved their season as the Warriors look to clinch a playoff spot, something that wasn't likely to happen given how poor the Warriors looked at the beginning of the season. Not to mention, Klay's performances have turned the Warriors into comeback kings as well. Because the Warriors' poor start hasn't been limited to their season, they've also been starting the games very poorly. But thanks to the support at home and Klay catching fire, they've made up big deficits this season under the leadership of Thompson. All I know is the rest of the Western Conference won't be looking forward to facing the Warriors in the playoffs, especially now that Steph's returning and Draymond Green's also getting back to full form. And when you factor in the way their new savior Thompson's completed his comeback from injury,
He's back! Klay Thompson!
it's only going to get scarier for the rest of the NBA. And that's all I had on why Klay Thompson is the Golden State Warriors' new savior.
So I'm really curious to see how he settles in, because you always want him to be so aggressive scoring.
I don't know if I was born for it, but I definitely worked my butt off to get to this point. And I mean, I guess you can say I was born for it. I guess.